Welcome to episode 15 in the Mirandus Farmer's Almanac. I'm your host, Xana, and co-hosting with me is Wolfie the Wolfenite and HammerHammond. If you haven't been paying much attention to the Mirandus discussion channel, you may have missed a few drop-ins from the Mirandus master himself. And though he's only there for a short time, he does answer a lot of questions and drops a lot of ideas for feedback. So we go over some of those discussions as well as some of the content from the recent AMA we had with the Mirandus team. So let's get at it. So good. All right. So I thought we'd just go over McCarthy's been hanging out in the Discords now lately with us, and he pops in randomly and it's unannounced. And he talks about stuff from the recent AMA that is not in the recent AMA. And I thought we could go over some of that stuff. And then the AMA was so long, it was like 2 hours, that I don't even, there's a few things I remember from it, but at least Hammer, you'd probably have to remind me of some stuff on there. But I think everybody already knows that he called it the Materium grant for the next playtest. So we got a next playtest coming for sure. And it's combat based, and it's in the end of Q2 or June. It'll actually be during probably Galaverse, the one that's overseas. So I don't know if you guys are stoked about that one. At least the combat based part of it.
Way out of range.
Well, we'll get to play it. We don't have to be overseas to play it though. So that's also awesome.
Yes, he did confirm that you don't have to be at Galaverse.
Yeah, I thought that was super important as well. I was like, well, I hope we ain't got to be there. And he's like, you don't have to be there. Like, excellent.
Yeah, that would suck.
Then,
I think it'll be fun to actually shoot stuff.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm not sure if you guys can you actually see my screen share?
Yeah.
So this was for like some files he uploaded from the AMA. And I don't think everybody would have looked at them, but let me see if I can. Did you get to see these?
I saw the files, but I didn't actually click on them.
Yeah, I was checking out. This is the battle stance one. The other two are all right. It's just the sword and the bow. But like this one runs for a little while, but it shows you like a spear, like the bow, just the battle stance moves. Like I guess when you're, I don't think you're running around or moving, but this is like your actual battle stance ready to fight. But I thought,
pretty sweet.
I know it is really sweet. And then the lighting, man, watch how he steps out into the light, like the shadows and stuff. I think that's one of the most amazing parts about like the whole thing of this game is how the light works in the game with the whole sun, and it's pretty wild. But
yeah, they had that nailed like pretty early, I'm pretty sure, because in an AMA forever ago, someone was wanting some sort of lighting deal, a download. I remember them talking about.
Right. Then let me see if I can. The sword one and the bow one.
Combat on horse.
Let's see if I can get the sword one pop up. It wasn't that great though.
I really like the picture of the elf that they dropped.
Oh yeah. Here. This is the polished elf, Wolfie. If I can get it. Oh wait, this is my problem. I think. Okay, that's the sword. That's the movements with the sword. Like that's the hitbox, I guess.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that actually.
Oh, did you get to see this one?
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool. Just, there's like a up, down. I think it's like a slash like that and then an X. And that was pretty much for that. And then the bow was sideways.
Yeah, I think that's the one you sent me.
You can shoot it sideways. And how it zooms in. See how the hitbox kind of zooms in like you're zooming in on the target? I thought that was kind of neat too. So I imagine that matters with the crosshair. But anyways, you're talking about this.
Yeah, that.
Dude, holy cow. What a polished job, right? From that blocky character.
No joke. Well, they talked about in the AMA how they want to change changed the graphics a little bit because he said it looked weird, putting players like boxy players next to buildings and stuff.
Right.
So they actually had to fine tune the art a little bit.
Why wouldn't you, man? This looks great.
No, and did you see the leaks in? I think it was the Korean Mirandus Discord chat.
Oh,
he
the two pictures.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I seen them. I forgot to snag those.
I've got them. Let me see if I can send them to you.
Do you? But yeah, they were pretty slick. They remind me of like the Zelda game, that last Zelda game. I forget what it was called, but it was pretty slick. But I was amazed with this elf. Oh yeah, that's them.
Well, they kind of had to upgrade it if they were gonna start like modding the way the horse moves and whatnot as well. The horse is gonna look kind of silly if it was blocked up and they're spending all that money on some special guy that comes in and shows them how horses move.
Sure. What did I just say that to? Okay. Let me add this file in. Done. Anyways, he talked about the boats too. Or at least not in the AMA, but the Discord. And I'm about to give up. I'm about to give up on the boats because he talked about it with having toggles and other players can use them now. So I've come full circle on the boats. Like other taxis. Oh wait, only a person can drive them now. Wait, you're allowed to like use it even though the owner is offline. So that was kind of mentioned and it threw me off too. Like the boats being autopilots and having toggles in there for, players to kind of use them when the owner of the boat is offline. You know what I mean?
So what happens when you come online and you want to hop on your boat?
That was the discussion. I'm like, well, the owner comes online. He's like, where the F is my boat, man? So I don't know if it would like auto back to where you left it. It's just, there's a lot of questions with that.
Well, let's say they went around the other side of the continent or something and it takes 3 hours or more for it to come back.
Yeah, man. Just like, kind of gave up on that one. Anyways.
Yeah.
Man, I lost that picture, but if anybody wants to check it out, I think somebody actually linked it in the discussions, the Mirandus announcements. I think it should be in there. Somewhere. I'm like trying to multitask on the fly here, and I suck at it, so.
The boats will be an interesting one, though, because he did say that they are not going to be driven. So, how will that work? I mean, is it just going to be a timer going from one place to another?
Well, I assume they would be driven. They're like driven by what's the whole seafarer about then?
That's a fantastic question. I actually have no idea. I know that he said that you will not steer them from place to place. He said they will be how to get from one place to another. Like, you have to have been there before, or it has to be discovered. Like, you have to have a map to it. But he did confirm that in the AMA.
Man, somebody, I forget who it was in Discord, was mentioning the choreographer would be a huge part in that. For even if you bought the map off of him, if it's on the map, you just click the map where you wanted to go that it showed, and the boat would just go there. But
it sounds like that could be.
I mean, that sounds like that would work really well, but I don't know what he was talking about when he's like, the boat would have toggles for other players to use, so it just gave me the idea that they can drive it. And then he talked to a ton about instances too. So what I mean by instances is like WoW, World of Warcraft, the servers, how much they can hold, like 4,000 and stuff. So in instances, kind of like, break up the game so not everybody's on the same server at the same time. And that went in with boats too, because he said at some point boats will instance to the location. It ain't like you just drive the boat the entire way or watch it go to that location, that it would just instance there. And instancing brought up just a ton of questions for me. So it was like, he talked about citadels having their own islands, and then the only way to get between those is between bridges or boats. So I don't know if those would be each island where a citadel is, in that land mass would be an instance. I didn't know if I tried to ask in the AMA if going in buildings would be if you would be instanced into the building. So it's like so the inside looks a lot bigger than it actually is, or if you just go into the building and everything's there. Like a tavern would be cool to have instanced. So I don't know what you guys think of that.
Actually, I didn't really think about going inside of a building being a different instance. I know that he said that it will, I mean, he gave a certain meter by meter, but I don't remember what it was. And I think someone had talked about it in the Mirandus discussion, or at least asked about citadels, because obviously citadels are going to be a lot more tightly packed than exploring out somewhere. Will the sizes be different? I don't remember what they said though.
I remember, yeah, it was like 1,000 meters or something like that, 500 to 1,000 meters, and it was how many events can fit in that. So, yeah, I don't know how. I imagine you go in your dungeons or caves for mining or whatever; those might be instanced, but it'll be interesting to see what's instanced and what's not. And it should be quick, just a quick load screen or just a in-out screen where you barely notice, but kind of breaks up the idea
So
of
what
a
if you're
one
playing with
world.
a group?
Your group would be instanced with you. I don't know if you'd have to party up, or if parties don't even matter. If you just I guess what it'd be like.
It'd be limitational on people, right? So you would
Yeah.
have to be partied up, or else you bounce into some other instant, more than likely.
Well, not only that. I mean, if you got to a population, it's insane. And like, all right, everybody, let's go and do this dungeon over here. And like, how many people? Is everybody in that dungeon, or is it like
Actually, yes.
partied?
He did talk about that in Discord.
Okay, I missed that.
I think I asked about that. That was just a couple days ago, actually. I asked him how the party system would work, and he said, if you're there and someone else is there, you will be able to see each other regardless. Like, there's no server whatever number. Like, you will both be there, but they haven't announced the party mechanics yet.
Well, would it be like we're both there, or we're both there, and so are 20 other guys we don't know?
Right. Yeah, the latter.
Yeah.
Whoever's
So
there is there.
yeah, that's kind of cool in a way.
It is.
It could kind of suck too. So, but that's the real world.
You got a Leroy Jenkins in there, you're gonna get ran over.
Well, you just let Leroy Jenkins do his thing, man. Then you just kind of hug the wall, man. All right, he's dead. All right, what are we going to do? Okay, well that's cool then. I was wondering that myself. That's good that, yeah. See that he pops in these discords. I miss things, so
I know.
there's a ton of
So
stuff to
hard
miss.
Read everything.
It
Gives me SAO vibes. I don't know if you guys have seen Sword Art Online, but yeah, it's a super good anime.
All right. Well, that's all I got for instancing. I thought that was kind of interesting that how the world will be broken up with instances rather than one huge world. Music for the players. He talked a bit about that. So a lot of people, this was back with the BT orbs and, oh, this would be great music for Mirandus. And it was reminded that the only music that's going to be in Mirandus is the music that are coming from other players. And then there was a lot of talking with Bucks, man, in Gala Music the other day, and they were talking a little bit about Mirandus. I think they had like a in Discord chat, and they were talking about some of the different things you'll be able to do with Gala Music with your instruments, maybe in the game. And I thought that was kind of interesting too. There wasn't a whole lot on that, but there's a lot to come with the music. You've seen the inventory bag. Yeah, I mean, I would have not have either. It's just like, here's a Gala Music. We're putting out some AMA stuff. And I was just like, oh, cool. I'll just listen to that. I was on a walk with my wife anyway, so. But,
Super cool.
Yeah, that whole Gala Music thing is interesting as well anyways. The head of the Minotaur King could very well be an NFT. So.
Better be.
Yeah, right? Better be. As well as his blood to make something, who knows?
Yeah, really. No, so I think that would be really cool, and there will be decorations in the game for your deeds. So I'm wondering if maybe when you beat a boss, it could drop well, their head, or I don't know. But you'll be able to put up different limbs of bosses that you've beaten as decorations. I think
Yeah,
that
dude.
would be kind of cool.
It would be awesome if the NFT buff of that, whatever monster it is, like the higher level it is,
Yeah,
it keeps the other monsters away. If you like put it on a
that
stake or if it's on your wall of your deed or something. Because
would actually be super cool.
yeah, my number one question since day one, my first question was like, what are the king buffs? And I finally got my answer to what those buffs are for the deed owners. Because the deed owner gets this buff and he can share this buff with a council, maybe I don't know, from the original video it was like 3 other people from the citadels, right? To share the king's buff. Oh, he liked the idea of an area buff. Monsters increase closer to town. Monsters, like the closer the monsters are to your town, increase the buff. Woofy mute.
Must have missed that.
Oh, my bad.
You're right. No, so the closer you are to your deed, the more powerful you are for if monsters come to like, yeah. So he was leaning towards that being the buff. So I thought that was awesome. And then you can share that with whatever deed council you are, or even if you're a homestead, you know, you have this buff to kind of help you protect your homestead. I don't know. It's like a survival mode, right? Protect your home. You get buffed. So,
That actually be pretty cool.
yeah, but dude, if you can multiply it by having like a Minotaur head or even just to keep them away, man. Because
Really, someone.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. My bad.
Um,
Someone in Discord today.
no, do your thing. Yeah.
No, so someone in Discord today was talking about putting a deed outside of a dungeon or some sort of something like a dungeon give a buff inside of the dungeon. And since it is like a one world sort of thing, I would imagine it would.
But the
give you
instancing
a
would
buff for
probably
the
be a
dungeon.
problem. I bet the
Yeah.
instancing would be a problem. And plus, like how the buildings go on deeds. I think deeds are going to have these specific plots on the world. Like you can't just put your deed anywhere; it's got to fit there. So I'm curious if that's going to be an issue with dungeons, or if there's going to be a design. It's like
There's a radius on them. You wouldn't be able to go within certain point of interest areas, even if you were able to set them down. They would want you to stay outside of a certain range of a point of interest.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, if they're going to design it that way, because that was a lot of my questions. So observers set up a Discord channel to just for questions for McCarthy. So you know, you join them. I think Fleece is going to pin the questions. He's in the channel, and he's just picking the best questions out there, or just gathering a bunch of those questions for that time. And then next time McCarthy's on, there'll be all those questions there. And I did a bunch with
Drilled questions.
yeah, just drill with questions. So I don't know. So we're not always asking the same question over and over to McCarthy, but I did a bunch around the deeds. Like if a citadel is only like the island thing, if there's one citadel per island to just diversify the land, I mean, does that mean maybe 1 or 2 archdukes are only going to fit in that area? Is the world going to be designed that way? Can you only fit like 10 villages in one area? And so we'll see what kind of, yeah, we'll see what it gets. Because I just don't know how when we get in there, man. Is this going to be a mishmash of deeds everywhere? Or how's it work for the first people that's setting up shop for the whole population? So curious of that one. But
I know he talked about roads one time in the Discord.
yeah,
Were you there for that?
yeah, I asked the question about roads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like how do you get to like how do you find these deeds, or do you build? I asked him if we build roads. I think didn't we talk about this on one of the episodes, Woofy?
Pretty sure we did. I think that was a couple months ago.
I don't know. Yeah, then I got to ask that question, and then he like He wasn't a fan of the road. I don't think he was a fan of the roads, but he wasn't sure. I don't remember. How'd that go? What do you remember about it?
I
I
remember him
think he said,
saying that. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you're good, man. Go ahead.
I somewhat remember, and I don't know if it was listening to you guys talk about it or him talk about it, but I know that he said that there needed to be a very high traffic.
Yeah, that's right.
To
Trafficked
make
area.
the roads. Otherwise, yeah, and then it's gonna be hard to get rid of the roads. But that's all I remember him really talking about.
Okay. Yeah, God, I remember that was like the first time he popped in or something to that Discord. I wish I remembered that conversation. I want to go back and look at that. Because we were talking about, yeah, making pathways.
Mm-hmm.
And like how long would the pathways just get eaten back up by the jungle? And it's like, how well was the path? How is everybody traveling that way? Something like that.
Yeah.
When I talked about, when I talked about the giant islands and citadels on them, and you can only get to one place where a citadel is to another place where a citadel is with boats and bridges. He mentioned the Bridge of Doom. Did you remember reading that one?
Yeah.
Where it's just a huge, crazy amount of enemies on this bridge. It's like almost impossible. Or he imagined at least a bridge that exists like this. I thought that one was
I remember
crazy.
talking about that.
That
And
one.
someone mentioned casting a Gandalf skill or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Cost a ton of material.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's like I blow 1,000 material just to or like all my material just to like lay waste to the whole bridge and crush it.
Hey, it could pay you back though.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. That'd be I'd definitely try to cross the bridge though. I told everybody they're coming with me. I don't care.
This might be a little off topic, but speaking of that, I love the idea of skills being NFTs. You said
Yeah.
that in the AMA.
Yo, yeah, good point.
Really cool.
Dude, that's gonna be everything. Even the like a beard, right? Like facial features that are super rare can be an NFT that you can separate from your character. And just sell those separate from the character or sell the character with them. Just a fantastic idea. It just totally breaks the game apart. It's great.
I really hope there's a one-of-one McCarthy beard in the game.
Maybe. There may be.
No, but on that, like recipes for skills. Well, first of all, are skills going to be recipes or no? Actually, I don't think that they will be. But I was wondering about recipes specifically because he said those will be NFTs as well. Usually in games, you learn a recipe.
Yes.
So I wonder if it would burn the recipe NFT once you used it, or if it's still going to remain.
I would say it goes back and forth. So you use it and it becomes part of what you're on. And if you want to take it off, it's back to the recipe.
Okay.
I mean, that's what you're disabling from your character is the recipe, or you just attach the recipe to you. Same with like anything else, like the beards or any of the skills. So I assume that's how that would work. But yeah, I'd assume it's still going to be a recipe that you have to learn it. It's just you can unlearn it and it becomes the NFT again.
Right, that would make sense.
And I try to get Go ahead.
I know that he talked about being able to trade back and forth skills, so that would kind of make sense with the recipes. You'd probably be able to do the same with those.
Right. And which an in-game trading would be cool too. I'd like to see that. Although I don't know if that'll get...
Chain.
Yeah, Gary Chain. Oh, yeah. I just hope they... I don't know if that means like bridging or... Weird stuff happens when you start swapping just NFTs and contracts, and so I hope they take their time on it and get it all right, which I'm sure they will. I mean, they got some audits they got to do too on the Geary chain for that kind of stuff, for bridging or I don't know, in-game trading, yada yada. But I tried to get in the iron sword question, the inventory, and he didn't answer it for me the exact way that. I was like confused on the answer because like the iron sword's an NFT, right? I mean, weapons are NFTs. Or is there like not a chance weapons are not NFTs? Or some NFTs weapons and some aren't?
I would assume that there's both sides because you ain't gonna really want a basic common sword as an NFT. It doesn't make much sense. But anything that's higher end that you've like gained through a dungeon or you know what I
Yeah.
mean, those rare, those
Well,
would be more an NFT, I would think.
but in the AMA, he was talking about like what do you say, like carrots, like a carrot stew, like a bundle of carrots is an NFT. He mentioned something
He
like
said he
that.
wants to he wants to make as much stuff NFTs as possible, but like what Wolf said, it would kind of make sense to have mintable items, so not all items are on chain unless you want them to be.
Yes, that's the way it's supposed to be. Everything can be an NFT almost, like maybe not a piece of wood, but a bundle of wood can be an NFT. But it doesn't mean it has to be an NFT until you mint it to be an NFT. It just stays kind of database until you mint it. So I don't know. I was worried about item like inflation of inventory, and then if everything is an NFT, then you just get littered. Your inventory gets littered because you can't destroy these NFTs, right? Because NFTs can't be destroyed. So I was like super confused on that. I didn't. I don't think I didn't get the answer that I wanted, or I didn't. It confused me. I don't know. So
That's a good point. We need an NFT trash can.
yeah, there's got to be a way to get rid of it. Either recycle it for metals and materials, but like if you can't destroy the NFT, and there's like, I think he mentioned that like well, if that nobody uses that item anymore, just nobody will use that item. They're on to the next one. You don't have to worry about it. But like what if crafters are still leveling? They're making this item, and it's just like littering the world. And everybody's like, oh my god, I gotta get rid of these swords. I can't destroy them. So
Donate them to the sanctuaries.
yeah, maybe, yeah. But even so, the sanctuaries are like, no, listen, we can't take no more iron swords. We don't know what to do with them. We're running out of players to give them to, and the players are getting mad about having too many of them. I don't know. I don't know. That's all I got. He mentioned birds of prey as familiars. The dragon familiar, right? That I clicked all 10 cards. You get this dragon. I think it's used in Townstar too, right?
Yeah, it gives like free gas or something inside of Town Star so that you don't have to start your setup for gas, because that's kind of a big part of starting.
Yeah.
But now I think you could just completely skip that.
Hell of an NFT for that game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's supposed to do some DPS damage, but he liked other ones, and he liked doing all the birds of prey for familiars. Talked about Vox a little bit, what Voxes can do. Like your Wolf Vox does damage on wolves. I assume the Dragon Box will do more damage on dragons, and I assume the Minotaur one you'll be able to do more damage on the Minotaur King.
That's the way I understood it as well. Or maybe give like loot table.
Yep, loop drop impacts. Yeah. Yep, damage
Going back
boost
to
or loop.
familiars for a second.
Go ahead.
I wonder if the fuzzles that are coming up, if those are going to be familiars in the game.
Listen, what are these fuzzles? I've seen this, but I haven't paid
I
attention.
don't know. They're like AI. That's all we really know about them.
Fuzzles are AI.
They're gonna allow you to do things. That's
that sounds like something Gala says. Listen, you're going to drop tens of thousands of dollars on these. They're going to allow you to do things. You need this.
Yeah. I know someone mentioned, like, someone with the collection mentioned that this is going to be the Genesis puzzle collection.
Oh my God, they had to throw in the word Genesis too. Hold on, let me get my wallet. Oh my God. Can't have it all, guys. You can't have it all. Listen, don't worry about it. You can't have it all. Unless you're John T. All right. Oh yeah, maybe fuzzles can be one, right? I have no idea what a fuzzle is. No, it's got me intrigued. Where was that talk at? Gala Gold or something?
No, I saw that actually. I was thinking about this earlier. Like, will fuzzles be familiars in the game, and would they maybe provide some sort of AI and I don't know inside the game? But I clicked on the fuzzle discussion, and it was in there. And one of the gray names, not a red name, but a gray name, had mentioned it was the Genesis collection. but then like, shh, you didn't hear anything.
Right. Nice. I'll look forward to that. Speaking of AI too, I during the AMA, I liked what I forget Mike. The Mike slant was it Mike Hughes? I don't know. One of the mics, one of the three mics that was in there, was talking about the AI and how difficult it's going to be. Where McCarthy wants the enemy NPCs to like have this AI that they are like smart, right? They look at you and like, oh man, let's check this guy out. And he was talking about how difficult that'll be, and that that we're working on it and it's going to get done. So I thought that was cool to see like a perspective of how hard it is to get this stuff to work and how cutting edge technology with some of this software they're working with, and it's all and experimenting with it with this game. I thought that was super cool. So I was pretty intrigued by that one.
That actually is really cool. He mentioned, I re-listened to it earlier today, again a drive, but he was talking about how he wants it to be when you stumble across a group of enemies, they're not just going to straight up attack you. They're going to kind of like be taken aback and look at each other for a second, be like, well, what do we do? And then they actually communicate with each other. He said they're bringing in some linguists for an actual language for them.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah, dude. So, like, how hard is this AI going to be? Are they going to have to tone it back?
No joke.
Scary stuff, dude, but also awesome.
Yeah, we'll be able to learn Goblin or some crazy language.
Well, just where the computer's talking to itself, right? Like the AI is talking to itself with like, how do we beat this thing over here? And then it actually be smart and strategizing against you. And then they can turn up the level of difficulty where, I don't know, where at some point they can make it damn near impossible because the AI is so smart. Or you're that good of a player, you can beat it, who knows. But I think the idea of AI in an NPC is just fascinating and crazy to me. I'm just like, whoa. Okay. God, this subject's forever. This could, damn, we should have been talking about this, but the building touch. Every 3 days, you got to touch your building for it to stay active.
They're gonna have issues with that.
I think the app, or like if you have a mobile device, I don't even know if we talked about this. I've been talking about this with everybody. This was like a long concept in Discord for a long time. People didn't like this, and other people was like, "Oh yeah, it can work this way." And
well, how would that even work though? Because the moment you rent out your land deed to someone, since we've got like 30 plus on even on a hamlet or whatever, like how do you? So if I don't check in, my deed just shuts down, and everybody that's renting from me in that deed has no access to their space.
This is the thing that I understood with what he's talking about. You guys can't have dead deeds in the game. The game has to work, and I understand it being like a responsible building owner, and like your shit has to work in the game. If you're going to own this stuff in the game, it needs to work. I get that, but I think that it should have inventory. As long as it has inventory, it should work. If it runs out of inventory, I think the 3 days should begin at that point. That was my argument.
So it's more towards just buildings and not the actual land deed?
No, it's not the land deed. It's just the buildings on the deed. And it's not right for the deed owners to have dead buildings on their deed and somebody's not taking care of the building, right? So I think where you could object that, I don't know if what happens, like, was it you can eject that guy off your deed or the lease is broken, or I don't know how it works. But it was an interesting concept where everybody was just like, what, 3 days? At least give us 7 days. And then I think Observer started the one saying that, it needs to be with inventory. And then after the inventory is drained, that's when the 3 days should start. And I can agree with that. Because then you got a dead building if there's no inventory in there. At least for 3 days, too.
Sounds like we'll be hiring and firing people regularly.
Yeah. Well, then there's also, you give your permissions. There's talks about giving your permissions out, right? And there's that person doing the permissions can save your building or work on your building or stock it with inventory. Like, so your workers, right? If you hire out workers that have access to your building.
That would be the answer to if you're going offline for a vacation or something like that, you could just give permissions to somebody else.
Not only that, but the app, like the phone app, like if you have like a mobile device and it allows you
Yeah,
to
that's true.
work with your buildings that way, that can help a lot too. I think people forget that he wants to make that. But I don't know if you guys had a lot of thoughts on that, because that conversation went deep for a while. But that was pretty much the whole sum of it.
That kind of like confirms McCarthy not liking passive income from Mirandus.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you're stocked, yeah. But them guys, man, that own 20 buildings or more, or tons of these buildings, you better have them buildings close to. Yeah, you better have them built. Well, you got deeds, so you can throw them on your deeds. But I mean, if you got a building over here, then I don't know, like 20,000 meters away, you got another building. You got a hike ahead of you, man, to stock that one.
Good point.
What?
I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah, that's super important. That's super important for everybody that's got a lot of buildings, man. You want to make sure they're close enough to each other where you can handle stocking that shit, especially if people are buying it. You got a popular building too, man. On top of that 3-day touch.
Managers involved into the game, let them run the business.
You
and
know,
take a percentage off the top.
that'll be interesting to see how that works too. That whole like scholarship feel. I know Gala don't like the word scholarship, but where your allowances, where the people can kind of manage your shit for you for free use of the building, or that and some payment. Who knows? Cemeteries. We talked about I don't know if he talked about that in the AMA or the Discord. I get confused. Where you have your cemeteries. Was that Discord? So you get your cemetery. It's like saving a home for your cemetery. So if you die in game, you have this ideal cemetery you want to resurrect from. So that he liked that being an option. I like the option of like the most nearest by or the saved cemetery, because I might not want to go all the way back to the saved cemetery. And, oh yeah, mastery. He mentioned the 3 masteries, like where we got into with character levels. Is there even character levels? Because he mentioned just, your swords will have mastery, element magic mastery,
big league.
Yeah, crafting mastery.
There's crafting masteries. There's masteries for all different sword or weapon types, and then he also said there's masteries for the different magic types as well.
Yeah, even bow. I'm sure bow, any kind of weapon, it's going to have a mastery for that.
He said like sword, dagger, axe, bow, crossbow, staff, and mace. Maybe I don't remember.
Yeah,
there were
any
several.
of it. So,
and then I wonder if the magic types that he mentioned are the confirmed magic types, or if that was just examples. Because he said like fire, light, lightning, and acid.
Oh, he said acid? I missed that.
Yeah.
That's probably poison.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know how you get the choice in what, or if you have all the choices. If that's like there's no character level anymore, you don't level your character up. You level the mastery of everything you do. So
would the masteries be obtainable if you're like rich and you just buy all the skill sets from everybody, since skills will be for sale, and then that just allows the guy pretty much to walk up to that bridge, wipe everybody, walk up to the Minotaur in the game?
No, he would never design it that way.
Yeah, he said that masteries will be, or skills will be gated by masteries. So masteries and skills are different. Skill is like an action that's performed, like a spinning kickflip or something like that.
Right.
And then the mastery is gained by each successful
hit
of a sword or something. Then you get sword mastery.
So sword level 1, and then like you hit like 20 more times, sword level 2, then you hit 40 more times, sword level 3, so on and so forth. Although he didn't say it like that, but that's an example. Then this is the big one that got me. Gala power, he said no. What do you say about that? Yeah. I don't think it's real, man. I think he's got his head buried in the game. I don't think Gala's going to let any game, because Gala said every game's going to have Gala power involved in it. It's some way or another, but I don't know if he knows how it's going to work. He's just working on his game. You guys over there at Gala doing your thing. Figure out how the Gala power is going to work. Maybe. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
That really surprised me, and also the Vox surprised me. You kind of mentioned Vox earlier, but yeah, he said he doesn't really want to do Gala power, and he doesn't want to. The rarity of a Vox doesn't really matter. The Vox is a Vox.
Yeah.
So both of those really surprised me when he said that.
No, I didn't think it matters for I think Townstar, but yeah.
Right, and it'll matter for the next or for the Voxverse or whatever.
Yeah.
Game that's
Yeah. It'll have a choose case in those places, but Mirandus, it's a trinket, right? And if you got an elf, the elf's going to be hard to get. So the rarity for that is kind of works in a way on price because there ain't that many elves. But as for that episode, man, that's all I got. Unless you guys got something you want to talk.
Well, I mean, Vox prices are really down right now.
Yeah. Hey, everything's down right now. I don't know if Exemplar's right. I haven't paid attention. But as this game gets...
Exemplars are decent.
Yeah. I don't know. Vox are kind of decent, man. Those Mirandus Vox, I just don't see the pricing in those. Those are super expensive for being a trinket.
Yeah, but so he did mention in the Discord one time that the Vox, so first of all, Exemplars will have a huge bonus. And then he said on top of that, the Vox will also provide another huge bonus.
Okay.
So,
well, that might help the price.
And the floor of the Mirandus Vox is like 0.6 ETH right now or something. So it's come down a lot.
Yeah. Probably need it.
Couple weeks.
Well, people selling out the FOMO into, what is it, fuzzies? Fuzzles? Gotta buy the next thing, man. I don't know. Gala controls the hype, man. Once Mirandus is the hype again, you'll just see the prices go up. Or once the game launches itself. Or the next game. Imagine the next game that is fully launched, ready to go, right? Prices of those are going to be nuts.
Yeah.
So,
Very true.
who knows? But that's all I got. You good, Wolf?
Good. I'm good, my man. I'm just trying to keep the kid quiet.
You're good, brother. You're good. All right. Well, I don't know if there's anything on to add. I know what Hammer, you got your own channel now. You guys need to check that out. 10-minute shorts. They're great. I'll try to throw a link to that in the description. I enjoyed listening to them. And
Short, sweet, and to the point.
oh God. Guild news. I wanted to throw out some guild news. Our constitution passed for the founders, right? So we have a founders constitution now. I set up a thing. I'm trying to coordinate deeds where deeds talk to deeds buildings. I threw it out in the announcements. If you guys had questions on that, hit me up. If you're interested in being the deed developer title, just ask for it. That's all you got to do if you have a deed. This is for outposts and hire. So that's all I got. Till the next one. Right. Peace.
Late.